What's going on, guys? Got another knife review here for you. Today we're going to be looking at the Sanrenmu 710. So I don't know if they're trying to be like Benchmade and have these model numbers. They have so many different knives out there. Them and what's the other one? B or something, Navy. I don't know. They have all these different names for their knives. Enlin, that's the other one. Enlan. So they have, their own design knives. They have obviously copies. This, I believe, I would say is a copy off of obviously the Sebenza. When I first started getting into collecting, this was 2.5 years ago or so, I definitely never thought I would own a Sebenza, let alone 3, 4, 5. I've had 10, 12 Sebenzas, over the course of my collecting. Sold them off, traded them off for different things. Right now I have 2 small Sebenzas, this large Sebenza, the regular, and then a Umnumzan in my collection in terms of Chris Reeve. And so, anyway, as you get into collecting, say, Spydercos, you get your first paramilitary 2, you get, I don't know, what other knives? Benchmades, you get your first Benchmade 940 Osborne, and you're trying to, figure out if those are awesome knives, and then you start hearing about Chris Reeve knives and Strider, Hinders, and so, when you're dabbling in Sebenzas, you're thinking, oh my gosh, like $410 for a large Sebenza, then, $350 for a small Sebenza. Maybe I'll just try my hand at getting a $10, $15 knife from Hong Kong that is obviously meant to be a clone. Obviously it's not the exact same, as those clones out there that are selling on those various Chinese websites. Sanrenmu is its own company. I think they actually run the same factory as the Spyderco China factory that makes the Tenacious and all the Birdline stuff. But you get this and you think that you're going to be getting a Sebenza, and at first glance you would think, yeah, it's pretty similar. I mean, look how similarly shaped these are, and you can kind of get a feel maybe for some of the ergonomics, of the knife. But yeah, I'll say that that's where it ends, honestly. But if I were just to review this knife on its own, which I'll try to do first, and then maybe do some of the comparisons, this is actually not a bad knife in of itself. So again, you can argue. I would argue that it is a clone. So it's, they're infringing upon intellectual property and those kinds of things. They do their own knives. So I'm not exactly sure how that all measures up. So anyway, really quick, the design, you got this, really this large Sebenza or Sebenza original blade shape on the Sanrenmu versus the 21, which has a more of a drop point or clip point. I'm not sure what that is. I think it's clip point actually, blade style. So it has the more aggressive regular style blade on here. You got 2 thumb studs over here. You got a very hard jimping. Definitely, it's just straight cut up jimping for the spine right there, squared out. And then you have stainless steel handles, the frame lock as well, and then a tip down pocket clip. Obviously, when you compare even against the small Sebenza, it's a little bit smaller. So you're probably sporting about a 2.75 inch blade on the Sanrenmu, and then where the differences lie, you've got the stop pin here for the Sebenza secured by a screw, and then another one secured in the back with the titanium standoff right there, and then you've got the lanyard pin in there. For the Sanrenmu, you got a stop pin that's kind of, I guess, secured in there by the scales. I don't know if I doubt it's press fitted. and then you have the two screws with these two pillars, which there's actually some design elements to it. It's not just straight up pillars. And then you've got the lanyard hole on the frames on both sides. On this side, on the display side, you have this, I kind of call it a nail file. It's kind of got the same texture as a nail file, but maybe not as aggressive. So if you do need to smooth out your nails on here, you could do that. And then other than that, I think I said the dual thumb studs on here. So everything is stainless steel. The steel that they're sporting on here, like a lot of the Chinese-made knives, is 8CR13 MOV, same as your Spyderco Tenacious blade. Okay, so quick measures on here. It's a large Sebenza, and then what I consider another high-value knife is the Kershaw Skyline, made in the USA. Just a great, for $30 to $40 or so, Skyline is a great option for high-value EDC carry, if you're not into high-end things yet. So overall, ergonomics, it feels like a Sebenza, so ergonomics are decent. It feels somewhat thinner, I think, than a small Sebenza. When you compare the scales here, you can see that the Sanrenmu does, is actually a bit smaller, a bit thinner as well as the Sebenza. So even the scales on titanium for the small Sebenza are thicker than the Sanrenmu. Blade stock as well is going to be substantially thinner, with the small Sebenza measuring at 0.125, just like the large Sebenza, just like the Emerson's. And then let me pull up my calipers here. Okay, so for the Sanrenmu, it measures at less than 0.1 inches. Okay, so you get a feel or understanding of how or why this is, material-wise, you're getting a very cheap knife. Okay, but fit and finish, quite honestly, on this knife is pretty good. Or I would say fit is very good. The lockup is very solid. It's at right now on this one is probably about 60%. It's steel on steel, so it's probably not going to wear too much. No up and down blade plate, no side to side whatsoever. So it is a solid knife. So fit is good. Finish, on the other hand, I think is definitely something that, when you start getting into comparing a real Sebenza, that's where you start losing quite a bit in this knife. If you look at the lanyard hole, it's very highly unfinished. The lots of scratches. This I think was new out of the box, so a lot of scratches all over the place. When you look at the frame cutout, it's very rough cut, stainless steel. Looks like they just took a bandsaw and just ripped through it, and that's pretty much it. The polish on the steel, you kind of just see all these different marks. I just got this, and I'm not complaining because it was a free knife, obviously, but you do see some of the design elements on here that weren't really carried out all that well. Even a Tenacious, I think, has better finish, and so that's out of the same factory. You look at the Sebenza on the titanium. Obviously, everything is bead blast. I mean, this one's been scratched all heck. Pocket clip. Just again, this is one of my favorite pocket clips. The inset pocket clip on the frame, so that's all milled out. You got the nice titanium lanyard pin. Everything on here is nicely chamfered and beveled out, and the screws are really good quality screws. So obviously you have the CR logo as well on this knife. Jimping, I think the Sebenza's jimping is one of my favorite jimping in terms of design and aesthetics. I mean, when you look at these two knives, I mean, the aesthetic of the Sebenza, I mean, I don't want to sound like a snob, but it totally trumps the aesthetics of the Sanrenmu, like hands down. So, is it worth 15 bucks? Yeah, I think so. You know, but at the same time, for this one at least, the 710, it's a clone. You know, so it's total intellectual property stealing. So I definitely don't advocate for that or condone that. Not that I could really raise any kind of trouble for these companies, but if you're just trying to get a feel for a small Sebenza, yeah, I mean, it's going to give you somewhat of a feel of a Sebenza, but what it really is a completely unrefined feel, you know, because you are, again, talking about stainless steel, so it's going to be a lot heavier than what you are going to, you know, feel from a first impression on a small Sebenza, you know, and this is, the comparison is really going to be between these two, you know. Blade steel S30V or S35V on the Sebenza is definitely going to outperform HCR13 MOV. Tip up carry is always going to be my preference over tip down. I don't carry anything tip down, so definitely for me, but you know, everybody's, you know, your mileage may vary. Again, the finish on this knife, and I think that's partly what the purpose is, you know, in getting a Sebenza, is that fit and finish, you know, both them together. And to experience that in a quality knife like Chris Reeve, that's really what it's about. But as an EDC user, is this knife going to, you know, do well? Yeah, you know, it's going to do as well as a Tenacious. It's going to do as well as a Skyline, you know, with Sandvik steel. I would argue this probably actually would perform even better than this knife, and it's way lighter with its G10 scales. You know, so you're getting the, I would say you're getting the maybe like 60 or 70% of the look of a Sebenza, but maybe like 15% of the feel of a Sebenza, you know. It's just, it doesn't feel and again, I'm probably a little bit biased here because of, you know, how much I love the ergonomics of the Sebenza. The titanium just feels good. It's light, it's balanced. This one is definitely handle heavy. I mean, I'm not gonna do this because I don't want to drop it on my knives, but it's so handle heavy, you know, for such a small knife. I would probably rather get like a CRKT Drifter. I had one of those, the full stainless steel version. That was tip down carry too, so that, you know, that's kind of a deal breaker. But you know, if you just drop it in your pocket, that's definitely an option that you could take. So anyway, I've definitely gone longer on this video than I really wanted to. As a cheap EDC option, the Sanrenmu 710 is a good one. If it was tip up carry, that would be even better. But if you're trying to, you know, try out a Sebenza, I would just save up, because I think this leaves so much to be desired when it comes to getting an actual Sebenza. All right, so anyway, that's my little take on the Sanrenmu 710. Overall, decent knife, but not even close to an actual Sebenza. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and you guys take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.